She really doesn't need an introduction. Shelby, come on.
Hi. Welcome to the 11th annual Pipeline to a Cure. My name is Shelby Klug, and I'm so grateful to have the honor to speak to you all tonight. I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at 2.5 years old. I'm currently 20 years old, which is really gross for me to say out loud because it actually makes me feel super old. I enjoy books, Star Wars, and I actually really like learning new things. So I'm basically the stereotypical nerd from every 80s movie. My life as a teenager with cystic fibrosis was considered somewhat normal. I was in the hospital around every 2 months to receive IV antibiotics to help fight infections and different sicknesses. However, in 2015, on my first day of my senior year of high school, I was walking through the hallway during lunch and I suddenly needed to sit down. I got really warm all of a sudden and I started sweating. When I got up to go to my next class, I felt dizzy and exhausted. I was out of breath from just standing up and I knew something was not right. My dad signed me out of school that day and I drove home. Later that night, I went to the emergency room after coughing up blood and having numerous fevers. It was apparent that this hospitalization was very different. I was quickly moved from Long Beach Memorial's typical pulmonary wing to their intensive care unit. From then on, I do not remember much. My lungs were struggling to function because they could not release the CO2 from inside of them. So I became delusional and I lost most of my memory. I woke up at UCLA Medical Center in their ICU unit, unable to talk, walk, or move any muscle in my body. Unbeknownst to me, I had been put into a coma to let my lungs work to their greatest potential, and I was placed on life support because my body altogether was failing. The only shot I had at survival was to receive a double lung transplant, and thankfully on October 27th, 2015, my miracle came. I received a lung transplant which has allowed me to do more than just survive, but to truly be alive. Clap for that. After being in the hospital for over 100 days, I was able to go home. I went through over a year of physical therapy, dialysis due to kidney failure, and I lost all of my hair. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When I spoke to you at this event last year, over 80% of my hair was fake. Yes, I have just exposed myself. I had fake hair, I had fake nails, but I am still one of the realest people you will ever meet, I promise. But hey, this year, all this is mine, baby. It's all 100% real. Since my hospitalization, I'm stronger and I am happier, and I would like to think just maybe I'm a little bit smarter. I just finished my first year of college at Chapman University. My dad graduated from Chapman University. Yeah. He graduated from there, so it's pretty cool to think that I parked my car where he once parked his covered wagon. I had to do it. I had to. I'm studying to be a business student with an emphasis in marketing, and to be honest, I don't really know what that means yet, but it sounded super professional. Of course, when I'm given a microphone and a bunch of people to talk at, I'm going to brag about how I made the Dean's List, and how I became a part of the National Society of Collegiate Scholars. I have no idea what that last thing means. But it sounded super professional, and I'm a very professional young woman. I was forced to go out of my comfort zone this year and live on campus in a dorm room with not one, but 2 roommates. I'm pretty sure at first they may have thought that I was up to some illegal activity. Because while most people carry their pills in organizers or in pill bottles, I had my over 50 plus pills in these super tiny little plastic bags. You know, the ones that are similar to the ones you see on the TV show Cops, where they pull people over and then search their cars. I started my freshman year with a crash, a bang, and an ouch. I started it in true Shelby fashion, the only way I could, by breaking my ankle. How did I break my ankle, you may ask? I wish I could say I did something cool. However, I tripped on a speed bump. In 2015, when I was fighting for my life, my doctors treated me with so many IV medications that I had severe nerve damage. This meant I could not really move or feel some of the muscles in my body. One place where I have nerve damage is on my left ankle, the same left ankle that just happened to trip on a speed bump and break. Because of nerve damage and the fact that I am a doofus, I refused to go see the doctor, and I convinced myself for over a week that I was fine. I walked on a broken ankle the first week of college for so long because I thought I was fine. Until one morning, I woke up in my dorm room, physically sick and shaking because my ankle hurt so bad. Even in the emergency room waiting room, I was like, yeah, no, it's not broken, I'm probably fine. But an x-ray showed that I had fractured my ankle in 2 places because I tripped on a speed bump. I ended my freshman year of college just as gracefully as I had started it. If there is one thing that I have learned, it's that life is temporary. Life is temporary, but your grade point average, oh baby. That thing is eternal. It follows you everywhere. During finals of my second semester, I worked really hard, apparently a little bit too hard. Not only was I barely getting 4 hours of sleep, but I was basically surviving on peanut butter sandwiches, iced coffee, and chocolate milk. A very sophisticated culinary palate. I pushed myself for over a month in preparation for finals because God forbid I didn't get a stellar grade in business calculus. After I had taken my finals, I started to get lightheaded, very exhausted, and had an aching pain in my lower back. Like I stated earlier, I am a doofus, and I once again literally convinced myself that I was fine. However, that was not the case. During my hospitalization in 2015, along with pulmonary failure, I had kidney failure. I was on dialysis up until the end of 2016. My kidneys right now are still not currently functioning at 100%, and yeah, my blood is technically considered toxic. Because of all the coffee I drank during finals, I significantly dehydrated my body. And I know what you're thinking, dehydration, just drink some water, you'll be fine. Well, I didn't drink any water. I basically drank only chocolate milk for a little over 2 weeks. Because I had drank so much chocolate milk, I had given myself kidney stones due to a buildup of calcium, and because my kidneys could not function at 100%, I also gave myself cysts on my kidneys. This resulted in a blood infection that caused me to go into the hospital for the entire beginning of the summer. So yeah, while most college kids were out partying and drinking, I was reading, studying, and drinking chocolate milk, and somehow I was the one who was put in the hospital. As I said before, I'm currently a business student. After hearing this, I heard a friend jokingly say to me, "So, you study business. What are you trying to sell?" Of course, they meant this as a joke. However, I started thinking and got lost in a cluttered mess of thoughts. Am I really just trying to sell everyone something? Have I sold out? Did the years of listening to 80s and 90s punk teach me nothing? I had convinced myself that not only had I sold out to the man, but I myself had become the man. So now what? What am I really trying to sell? After a lot of reading, writing, and about 20 life crises, I decided I only have one thing that I can sell you all. I'm a smooth talker. Yeah, that's ironic. I could probably talk some of you into buying some really gross used cars, or maybe even a workout tape that promises you a rockin' beach body. However, in good confidence, I will spare you all. I will sell you something more meaningful. I cannot sell you a cure for cystic fibrosis. If I could, this disease would have been conquered years ago. I cannot sell you the secret to happiness because that is something that can never be sold, but can only be discovered by oneself. What I can sell you is life. By no means do I really know what I'm doing in this life. I'm pretty positive the fact that I hospitalized myself by drinking too much chocolate milk is evidence enough. I cannot sell you your life because you already have it, but I can sell you life as a gift. Everyone in this life has their own distorted vision of what success looks like. For most people, there's a solid timeline. Good grades to get you to a good school, to get you to a good job, to make enough money to support a family. My timeline became slightly askewed. Good grades to intubated in a coma, to on life support, to flatlining, to receiving a double lung transplant, to over a year of physical therapy, and now to a good school. And after that is just life. Life doing what it wants, taking and giving, ever changing. So who knows what the future holds for me? It's scary, it's new, it's a gift. There are so many things in this life that we have to enjoy, things to make us happy. I am happy when I eat a really fresh piece of fruit, when I'm reading a really good book, when I discover a new weird band that I can eventually force all my friends to listen to. I've been gifted with friends, family, food, water. I'm lucky enough to be alive to see the seasons change, to travel at times, to have access to great culture. I smile when people smile at me. I smile when my dog howls. I even smile sometimes when I trip while crossing the street. There are so many things that make life so simple and so easy that we take for granted every day. I do not have time, and you do not have time to be sad or ungrateful. We are guaranteed nothing in this life, so we need to embrace every little thing in this world that gives us a reason to be happy. As I said before, my hair is 100% real this year. And so in honor of my hair being 100% real, I'm about to get 100% real with you all. I sometimes struggle with practicing what I preach when it comes to joy and overlooking your circumstances. Cystic fibrosis does not contain the word mercy in its definition. At least half of my life's memories include laying in a machine for hours, being poked, prodded, examined, and left begging for answers. I've laid unconscious on a table with a whole team of people surrounding me, and they've cut me open. Then there are the procedures I've stayed awake for, where I've constantly repeated to myself that it'll be done soon. Just count the tiles on the ceiling and don't you dare cry. You're supposed to be the strong one. You're used to the pain, right? You're some kind of warrior. But to tell you the truth, no matter how many times I tell myself that, I don't feel like a warrior. Sometimes I just feel more like a lab rat or a car in a shop getting a tune-up. Someone once said to me, embrace your pain. Pain lets you know that you are alive. And to be honest, in the most passive-aggressive tone and with the most sarcastic smile, I replied, wow, gee, I must be so alive right now. I know that from every wound there's a scar, and for a long time I had been hiding mine. I tried to laugh everything off, not acknowledge my hospitalization in 2015 and my pain, but I realized that by hiding my scars, I was hiding my story. I realized that I have a duty, not a duty to myself, but a duty to my donor, a duty to the doctors, nurses, and surgeons who saved my life, a duty to the thousands of babies, kids, young adults, and adults with cystic fibrosis to tell my story in hopes that a cure for this disease will be found and that what happened to me will never happen to them. Thanks to my amazing doctors and my donor, I have been given the chance to live a life I know I don't deserve. If life was a video game, to be honest, I would just be in the bonus round right now, and I'm loving every second of it. I am not cool by any means. I'm literally just some loser who they trusted with a microphone to talk to you all tonight. So I thank you for indulging me, for letting me ramble on about life, about pain, even about chocolate milk. Maybe to some of you, you see my optimism about life as something that makes me blind, ignorant, or naive. But I've learned that optimism, happiness, joy, these are all choices that can give you the power to rise above adversity. I can choose to let this disease, my circumstances, be a weight and cause me to sink. I could take the easy way out and not push myself to see and take in every little detail, but if I did that, I would truly not be alive and I would not be myself. So here I am, alive at last. I am living, I am myself, because even after what seemed like irreversible destruction, to quote Jurassic Park, life finds a way. That was a pretty solid Jeff Goldblum impersonation. I deserve more laughter. So even after that irreversible destruction, life does find a way. It finds a way to make you laugh, to make you smile, to make you enjoy whatever time you have left, to show you that no matter what, you are not broken and you are not ruined. My life is a book with torn pages, a bent binding, but the pen is in my hand and I am writing. And all I hope is that other kids, other people who have been thrown some curveball or a disease like cystic fibrosis do not have to live a life bound by their circumstances, that they do not have to get a double lung transplant or be on life support or in a coma to realize everything that life has to offer. And every year we all gather here to give those kids, those adults, the same opportunity. By just sitting here and eating your surf and turf dinner, you have given people like me the opportunity to live, and for that I cannot thank you enough. So this is it. Let's do it. Let's cure this disease. Let's embrace all that life has to offer and make cystic fibrosis be a term that no longer causes grief, pain, or anxiety. Let's turn cystic fibrosis into something that will be conquered rather than feared. Thank you.